Dan, had I been talking to you about an hour ago, I would have asked you, who is your twin?
Who is my twin? Really?
Yeah, I would
My
have seen
clone?
two of you. Yeah, I was seeing double.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. If you see two of me, man, your day is double your pleasure.
Yeah, two hobbyists are better than one.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
I was getting dizzy, man. We're
Uh-oh.
in late August and we're in a heat wave. It is scorching hot outside. Not healthy
Yeah,
hot.
it's miserable. Just
Whew.
awful.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges, delivering. I've always said firewood and heat don't mix. And this delivering, you don't it sneaks up on you. And then the next thing I know, my head's killing me and I'm not having any fun. And I still have to drive home.
Yeah, it like you said, it comes out of nowhere and you get dehydrated and then the headaches, man.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
all about that.
When I was a young man, I was impervious to heat. And I was athletic. I played baseball. I was a pitcher, and I can still remember some of my best games were in oppressive heat. But those days are long gone, man.
Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
similar conditioning on the farm, baling hay in the summer, that and then being up in the hay barn, unloading the hay. Oh my gosh. It was like working in an oven,
Yeah.
really hot.
An oven is right. Working in a firewood kiln.
But yeah, but now, like, I went outside the other day, I opened the door and I just turned around and went back in. I'm like,
Yeah.
not going to do it.
It is normally my practice in the heat of summer. It's just the way my day goes. I'll be up early. I'll do my stacking from the night before, or I'll run the machine, and then I get everything set up, and then for later in the evening, and then I go home and I stay inside, and that's where I think the new description or whatever I call it, sitting on the couch, is I'll go home and edit some videos.
That's the new term for nap.
Yeah, that's the new term for not doing anything. I got to go edit some videos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Joe's got to go edit his videos, and then Joe's going to go home and lay on the couch.
I got to go comb through some footage.
Yeah. Yeah, but no joking. This heat, oh, I remember growing up. We had hot days, but they weren't like this,
No.
where it was just all the time. We did have, I think we had a very hot summer, but then we had a break for about a week and a half, and it was nice and cool, nice and cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
been
gosh,
really hot and really wet this summer up
yeah,
here.
well, what the heck? It's the end of August, and we're mowing our grass 2 times a week still.
I know.
Jeez.
Terrible. Make it end.
Why can we put robots on Mars, but we can't invent a grass that doesn't grow?
I don't know.
Yeah, mowing grass, I think, is one of the biggest. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm right there with you,
Yeah.
but my wife disagrees. So
Yeah, my wife loves mowing too. I can't understand it. I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, my wife
Yeah.
just loves the grass. She doesn't. She makes me do the mowing.
She likes to walk on it or smell it after it's
Yeah,
mowed.
maybe I should do that. Make her mow, and then she'll be on my plan of turning the yard into a prairie of wildflowers for the bees.
Oh,
That's my
yeah.
plan.
I had seen there was an article about a guy, saying how we have a huge miss in our lives in dealing with yards and all the mowing and all the maintenance that has to go into it, and that it should be, you can make it into I don't know, like not a flower garden, but like a natural grass kind of a
Yeah.
thing where
Yep.
it still looks nice, but you don't have to mow it all the time.
Yeah. The natural prairie. Wildflowers, grasses, all that stuff. Just natural.
Yeah. But I think there's still nothing really looks better, than like a nicely mowed and groomed yard.
Yeah.
Just
Uh,
you'll never see it at my place.
right. I think it's a little overrated.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There are people I have learned. I don't know. It seems like these people that obsess over their yards, with their straight lines, and the ones that'll go out and yell at kids for walking on their grass.
Yeah.
I just think I don't. I have. I'll never get along with those people.
No.
It's just, yeah. There's just a different. We're wired differently.
Yep.
I could never be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Out there with like the edgers going along the sidewalk. And then I've even seen people like trim with like a little like scissors type thing to make sure
Oh my
the
gosh.
corners are all, like contoured and,
Uh huh.
beveled down to match the slope. I'm like, oh my gosh, just yeah,
Yeah, and they're making their
stop.
yard so inviting, but then no one's allowed over.
No.
Don't you dare look at it. Don't let your dog stand on it. Don't let your kid ride their bike across it. That'd be the end of the world. But that was the key word for me. I wanted to tell you about this: inviting,
Ooh,
inviting,
yes.
inviting. So, like, I talk about the national retailers. They everything they do is for a purpose, and we can learn a lot by watching them. And that's how they get people to visit their stores, because there's so many other places to go shop. You make it inviting, like
Yes.
that flappy. What do we call that guy? That flappy guy, the
Yeah,
the blowing flappy man.
right.
That
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that would call attention. But then to invite people in, maybe your door's open or you have a nice display outside, a nice clean parking lot, and lines drawn. So there's order and all, and people can get in and get out. So I experienced the opposite
Oh no.
this
Ooh.
last week, dealing with my wife's car. Um, I think that this has something to do with firewood too. And I have done past videos on YouTube about making it a customer experience and not making it about yourself, and not complicating things for the customer. Make your
Yep.
what you charge for your wood and your services, make it make sense. Don't don't add all these weird fees, and the different tiers, the gold and the platinum service kind of a thing. Yeah. So my wife, we bought this car, and when we bought it, we got into it kind of cheap, but because it has a scrape down the side, it's not like a big deal, whatever. And it's nothing like where we were even wanting to get it fixed. But I was thinking, what the heck? Let me look around here and get some estimates, body work. So I was in a suburb of Youngstown, and there's this body shop, a bigger one. I thought, what the heck? I'll go there. When I pull in off the street, I didn't know where to go. Their front of the store was all the parking lots were filled. There was nowhere to park. There was one car that was like paralleled on the curb, but like the front doors were all like dark um, tinted glass. And I was thinking, well, is this even where you go in? I don't know. I've never been here before. Well, I drive around the corner and I drive, there's a fence and you can't go all the way down. And then there's like a garage door that's open, but that's like where all the mechanics are going in and out. And I didn't know what to do. And there was nowhere to turn around. But, the car's small enough. I don't know if you remember that Austin Powers scene where he got his little golf cart caught in the hallway. That's what I was doing to back out of this place. So I got turned around. I went back and I'm looking around. Where do you go? There's nowhere to go. I don't see an open sign. I don't see, customers enter here. There's nothing. And the next thing I know, I'm at the exit. So I just drive away. That was my shopping experience at this place, and now they could be the greatest store in the world. But I would never know it. They could have the best service, the best products, the best customer scores. I would have never known it because, Dan, it was not inviting.
Not
And
inviting.
I didn't want to look like a dummy where you like walk into the wrong door, and everyone
Right.
like that restaurant I went into where everyone stood there and stared at me.
They stand up and snap around looking at you like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. But Dan, I think there is something to learn, though, about firewood and about firewood service and like even your firewood stand. Can you
I was
not?
just going to say the roadside
Yeah.
stands.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yep. Yeah. I've seen stands that you don't even know if you're able to park next to it because there's like no space or nowhere to like you said, invite you in to grab your bundles or even pay or, anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There may not be anywhere to park, or the signage isn't inviting enough, or it's not clear enough about how much it costs. And I'm a big thing. That's one of the things I've learned from my retail past was price. You always got to show the price.
Yes.
I used to travel with the regional staff, and this one guy I always traveled with, he would pick apart a sales floor, and the store manager, we would show up for like a team visit, and that poor store manager had to follow us around while we, slammed his store and told him everything that he's doing wrong. I mean, that's in essence what it came down to. But I would say, great, you're really doing a great job. Your store's a train wreck. Nice shoes, I would say to him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I still remember the guy I would travel with. He would always find merchandise on the shelf that didn't have the price, and he would pick it up and he
Ooh,
would turn to the manager and he would say, "I would buy this if I knew what it cost."
there you go. Yep.
Uh huh. Yeah, and that's what I'm big on, prices. Make sure your prices are known, and because people don't want to pull in to your driveway, and then you got the prices like real small, and then they go,
Yes.
"Holy cow, I'm not going to pay that," and then they leave.
That's one of the things I did with my stand is made sure that I had the signs with the pricing big enough that you could read from the road as you drove by or
Yeah,
as you pulled in and maybe took a moment to take a gander at what's there and how much it is and yeah, I think the if you set up a firewood roadside stand, you should act as a customer and evaluate yourself, like pull in, see how easy it is to load, how far do you have to walk to carry your bundles,
hmm,
can you turn around, can you back out, I mean, how easy is it for that customer to come into your roadside stand, get your wood and leave?
yeah, and that is the essence of modern day retail
Yep.
is convenience, and that's where a lot of these national retailers now they're looking at it as what can we do to make it convenient to the customer while driving down our payroll percent.
Yes.
So these guys, they will set up a store and use signage all because they feel if they can make the sales floor that convenient, that's one less person they have to have hired,
Yep.
to work. They'll use QR codes, like at a hardware store for explanations on this or that, where the customer is having to do all the work that someone used to get paid to do. That's a different episode of the Woodhounds podcast for another day. But the point is, and what I had learned from pulling into this auto shop was you have to be inviting and you have to make it easy, because I think there's like this natural barrier that everyone has, especially if you've never been to a place before. It's hard to go into a new store because you don't know what you're getting into. And you have to make it inviting. You have to make it convenient. And
Yep.
that's the same way too. If your store only exists on the internet, you are a delivery service or you have a firewood yard, but that's the first point of contact is your website. Check out that website. Make sure it's not too complicated. Make sure it makes sense and that it's inviting for people to see, to find out what they want to find, and then make their decision.
Yeah, show they can see what you have to offer, they can find how much it is, and they can purchase or order all as easy as you can make it.
Yeah.
Simplicity. Keep it simple and make that experience smooth. And then, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that helps with my roadside stand and repeat customers.
Yeah.
Once they're there and they know that they can just pull right into my driveway, It's right off the side. They load up, they drive out, boom, in, out, done.
Yeah. Easy.
Yep.
Easy and inviting. And you don't even use one of those flappy
No,
guys.
nope. But like I mentioned earlier, I've seen roadside stands where there's like a little driveway that you might possibly be able to pull into, but you don't know if it's belongs to the stand because the stand is like 20 feet down from the driveway. So, you know, you don't, and then you don't want to park alongside the road because traffic is flying by. So you just have to really take that into account if you're doing something like a roadside stand. Be your own customer. How would you feel if you were to come and buy firewood from yourself? How would that
Yeah.
experience be?
Excellent. Very well said. And that would be, I don't know. I will leave an occasional review online, but I don't ever slam. I just will leave positive ones. But I was tempted to leave a review to the shop, but it would have been well intended. I wouldn't have been rude or anything about
Yeah.
it. But I think that they needed to hear this constructive criticism because I was, what didn't we talk about this before? The customer has money and they want to give it to you. So
Yeah.
don't screw things up. And I felt that they had screwed things up because they did not have an inviting storefront. There was nowhere for me to park, so I left.
Yep. If you'd
Yeah.
have left a review, they'd have been like, "Oh, this is that guy that was driving around the parking lot with the big scratch on his car the other day."
It's a little scratch, but whatever. Yeah.
That guy that was just driving around in circles, looking everywhere, like he didn't know where he was going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Have you ever heard of these businesses that sue a person for a bad review?
oh
I, I
yes,
I hear that every now and then too. Is that
yes,
like? I guess that's real, but maybe it doesn't happen often. But I don't know.
it's
That's
and
kind of
that's another episode we need to possibly put in the docket because yeah, it's actually happens around the world of YouTube as well.
there was. Yeah, this is. I don't want to sidetrack our discussion today, but there was a pretty big story in the YouTube influencer world, and it came out of, ironically, the um, solar systems, solar batteries, solar panels. A YouTuber that it was in another country, did a review on a product, and he was critical of it, and the company sued him over it.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Whew.
yeah,
Out.
people and their feelings. I tell you, huh?
It's a lot of sensitivity out there. A lot of sensitive people.
there are delicate, there are delicate people in this world. I ran
Oh,
into a delicate person the other day at an intersection. Gee whiz, people. Cannot handle adversity anymore.
no.
If you
Oh
could just
no.
wait, yeah, just please wait 5 more seconds, okay?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, but Dan, inviting, okay, inviting. You know what else is inviting is the Paul Bunyan show. Their website's awesome, and it's a inviting show. They've reworked the parking lot thing so people aren't lined up onto the roads to get in. They
Yep.
changed the way that you pay for your ticket to get into the front gate. It's inviting, and that's what I'm
Yes.
saying. We got the big show coming up here in our industry in my state, and we're about 1 month out now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are close. The granddaddy of them all, the Super Bowl of timber industry, the WrestleMania of woodhounds. It is
Yeah.
definitely going to be something that. But that's an interesting point about how they have actually kind of changed around getting into it, and then I think you've talked about this before about different vendors, and if you are walking around, you can start noticing how some vendor booths are more inviting than others and how
Yes.
easy you can see equipment or how how engaged they are with you, and
Yes.
it's a wide range
I
down
am
there.
so glad that you said that. I had a thought triggered in my brain while we were just having that discussion. There was this booth when I was in Bangor, Maine 2 years ago. It was a processor that I had never seen before, but the way they had their booth set up was uninviting. All of the people that were there were sitting in lawn chairs in a circle, and it gave me the feeling I would be intruding on their campsite. So I didn't even go into it. I felt like I'm serious,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know, that they'd had their booth set up wrong. I learned all this from Bob Nelson, who it was very experienced with all these. And then I don't want to pick on anyone, but if you recall last year at Paul Bunyan, you and me had both discussed there was a booth that we both saw. It was a small, I don't even remember what they were selling. It was a guy sitting in a chair under his tent, and he had no one at his booth looking. And it
No.
was
Yeah.
like why wasn't he out of his chair out in front and just saying hi to people that would walk by?
Yeah. And you stop and you look, and he would look up at you and see that you're stopped in front of his booth, and then just look back down.
Yeah.
Don't even care. Doesn't even matter.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, what I'm assuming that the reason people are there is for visibility. So
Correct.
yeah, that should be job one.
Yeah. You would think.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So we have Paul Bunyan coming up. Are you planning on attending?
yes, I will be there. I will be
Okay.
there, and on Saturday. That's the first day I will be at the actual show. Saturday and Sunday, I will be there.
And will you be having your Friday night live stream from there?
Yes, the night before Friday night, I will be at the Fairfield Inn, the scene of the previous, 3, 4 live streams now? Friday Night Lives from Paul Bunyan.
You
We're
must
back.
be doing something right where you haven't been thrown out or told, not asked, but told don't come back.
Oh, well, yeah. Last year was the best yet, working with the staff and the manager. And so I called down there a couple weeks ago just to touch base. And unfortunately, that manager is no longer there.
Oh, no.
So the new one has been smartened up to what we got going on, and very, very cool with it. Everything's good. No worries. Most of the hotel, most of the people staying there, I think, are there for that. So, they can't kick us all out.
Yeah. So you've never been kicked out. Did you ever get like a warning, or did they ever look at you kind of funny, off to the side, or?
Yeah, the first year was a little, they weren't quite exactly sure what to think of what was going on. But
Uh-huh.
then after that, every year after that's just been, they welcome us back. Like they see us come in like, oh, it's great to have you back here again. And,
Oh, wow.
it's good time.
That's good. Okay. So you're going to be there. Do
Are
you have
you
a
going to be there?
specific, I am going to be there, but, I don't have any dates or times yet.
Hmm.
Um, I have responsibilities because that's the fall break for my one daughter. So I have to go bring her home from college, and I'm planning on having the All Roads Lead to Ohio live stream. But I don't want to give any spoiler alert here, but Dan and I had both talked that it's always been on Friday morning. We might move that to Thursday evening because we have some other scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
But I hope to have a live stream. And but I would probably be there Saturday or Sunday. It depends on how my weekend goes. But I don't have a date or a time, if I will be at any of the particular booths while I'm down there.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'll be somewhere.
that's the same with me. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't committed to any time slots at any specific vendors yet.
Uh-huh.
So if that pans out, we'll bring that, here to the podcast. But just, walk around. You can find us. We'll have our arms open and be very inviting to come in and approach us.
So you're not going to be walking around the grounds with your phone up to your ear and walking real fast with your head down or nothing like that, right?
I hope not to be, but you never know. I could need to do some TCBing. I could need to take care of some business.
Uh-huh. Okay. We might find you waiting in line for food. I guess you stood and waited for a long time last
Oh
year.
man, yeah, yep. I'm working out. I think what I did last year is I ate a late breakfast, and that way I could hold over for lunch until like 2 o'clock, and then the
Yeah.
line kind of died down. I think I might do that plan again this year.
That is my lone criticism of the Paul Bunyan show is the food vendors. They need to
Double up.
quintuple.
Yeah.
There's just entirely too few food vendors here.
Yeah.
They need to they need 10 times more food trucks. Yeah,
And
without a
yeah,
doubt.
and the food is good. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
whew,
I agree. I've had
smells
the
good.
pizzas, I've had the barbecue, I've had the burger. I think I even had a burrito one time.
Ooh.
But, the lines, when you're waiting in line for your lunch, you might as well just stay in line and get your dinner too, because it's going to be both by the time you get your food. Whew, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, though, Dan. Do you intend on buying anything at the Paul Bunyan show
I don't
other
believe
than
so
food? Yeah.
because I wouldn't be able to bring it back on the plane with me.
Ah, yeah.
And
Don't
I
you think,
wouldn't want to
though?
leave it at your place.
Yeah. The it might be sold by the time you yeah. So the first time I ever went to the Paul Bunyan show, I went with Dad, and so we went a few other years until he couldn't make it anymore. But we had not purchased, but we got a freebie. It was a yellow yardstick,
Mm,
and I don't ever use it. It's propped in the corner of my basement, but I still have it. It's like a forever thing.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it gets me to thinking, this is the time, especially if you're there with a child. There's a lot of neat things there to get. And from my experience, Dan, the tools, not all, but a lot of them that we buy in firewood, they last forever.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing because some of the tools are, you don't want to be buying them every year. You don't want to have to be replacing them.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you think about just simple things, an axe, a hatchet,
Yeah.
a PV, the log right hookaroon, the
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 log
log
ox.
ox.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about a tool that will last forever.
Yeah. That.
I just think that's probably a good opportunity.
Yeah. I think it is too because I think a lot of the. I mean, you can see the. You can see what's available. You can try it out. You can put it in your hand. You can feel what it's like to,
Yeah,
operate or swing, and then you have it. It's not like something
it-
you have to order blindly, without having ever picked it up.
right.
And like the hookaroons and the pickaroons, some of those feel a little different in your hands when you use it. So I think that's what's nice. Like at the Paul Bunyan show, you can get your hands on it, and then you can take it home with you right there.
Yeah, or one of those $300,000 log trucks.
Yeah, hook it up, pull it home.
Or one of those gigantic mulchers. That
Oh
mulcher's
my
as big
god.
as my house. I wonder what that costs. I couldn't even afford to fuel that thing up.
No, I know. I asked the one year, and I can't remember how much it was. How many gallons of fuel it uses an hour?
Oh my
But it
God.
was crazy,
Yeah. I
crazy.
think those things, and man, have you ever noticed when those things fire up, the entire grounds, everyone just floods to
Yep.
that side of yeah.
Everyone moves down to that
Oh,
end.
I feel sorry for those trees. Those trees are like some of those are big. They're like 100 years old, and I mean they are just turned to dust in seconds.
Yep. Just a steady stream coming out
Yeah,
the end.
I wonder if those things last forever.
I'm guessing they would need some parts replaced or sharpened or something on the inside.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, I think too, like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of, McCullough saws that are still out there. You know, I don't know if people would regard as today's saws as throwaway after a while, but I think, I have every saw I ever bought.
Same here.
The
Yep.
the ones that are green don't run anymore, but I still have them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I don't.
every
I just think in the firewood, these tools and stuff, they're like forever tools. Always consider that. I think when you're buying something and what that is going to mean to your youngin in the years to come.
right. Yeah. Forever tools. Buy it once, buy it for life.
Yeah, I think that log ox, that's definitely a forever tool.
Yeah. Yep. No
Yeah,
doubt. And
yeah,
there's, I think some of the machines. I mean, like I mentioned, I don't know if I would like when I bought my Wolf Ridge splitter. I mean, that was my plan. I was going to have that. I wasn't going
yeah.
to be like, oh, I'm going to buy this, and then in 2 or 3 years, you know, I'll need another one. That was never on my mind. I wanted it to last.
Right. And that was the thing with my super splitter. And I'm the one that always says, that it can be a finicky machine, but man, there's a lot of them out there. You never see them for sale. Very rarely do they show up, used for sale. They last forever. And I don't ever plan on getting rid of mine. I would call it a forever.
Yeah, you would need to, and because that's the other thing. Then, what do you replace it with? That would
Well,
be the challenge.
when it gets replaced, come see me at my nursing home and tell me what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Dan, how about this? How about to our listeners out there, if you have a forever machine or if you're planning on buying one, send us an email. How could they do that, Dan?
thewoodhounds@gmail.com.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being a tool for, your hobby or whatever you're doing, can think of it as a forever tool. Think of it as a forever machine.
There you go.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever and ever.
Yes. All right. Well, Dan, I had a fun time discussing this, and I'm glad to see only one of you as we sit here in the air conditioning. So that's nice.
That is
Air
nice.
conditioning
Yes.
is a great thing. Yeah.
Yes, indeed it is.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh,
this
boy.
time.
I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know how these firewood businesses in the South do it. It is just unhealthy. Whew, boy. Yeah.
all right. Are you ready for
I
the
am.
band?
Let's strike up the band.
All right, band. Here we go. Thanks everyone for tuning in and making the Woodhounds the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
Yes, and no matter what streaming service you are using, please consider giving us a review and maybe make it a 5-star. It really does help us. Yes.
Yeah.
So Dan, how about this? Stay,
Safe.
be a forever
Cool tool.
and have
A great day.